or we were just tracing the lineage of like ABC and Disney and Marvel, you got a lot of characters you can draw. I mean,
yes, we're trying to.
Yeah.
No, there's a deep well from which to draw from, but we want to start with this kind of core group of characters that you see in the pilot and kind of really take our time to really explore them and who they are.
And then, slowly they'll come and cross into with other people. One of the for us, some of the most fun of writing the show is the mashups. The fact that you can have a war council that's Red Riding Hood, Granny, Grumpy, the Blue Fairy, Geppetto, like the stuff like that where you're the mixing and the mashups of the stories are really what excites us right now.
Now, was this influenced at all by Fables, the comic book series, or?
We actually had this idea in 2002. We were coming off of Felicity, and our agent was like, well, would you like to try and go sell a pilot? And we came up with this idea, but 2 junior writers coming off of Felicity with this idea, everyone went, no thank you. We not only do not believe in you, we don't even understand what you just said. So we think Fables is a fantastic thing, but we're hoping we're our own thing, and just like we get compared to other fairy tale stuff, it's like we're doing our own version.
It's these stories are so iconic and they're so kind of ingrained in all of us that for us it really came out of a discussion Eddie and I had after Felicity, which was like, why do we like to tell stories? What makes us want to be storytellers? And it came back to these stories and it led to this idea, and I think because these things are so iconic and across every culture, that's why we see so many different fairy tale movies and television shows.
I think it's also interesting because they're the first stories you hear as a child. So for two people that grew up wanting to be writers, that was your first influence. And it was funny because that scene in the beginning where she busts into the wedding, well, once the show got picked up, Adam and I were like, we better start watching all these movies again. So we went and watched Sleeping Beauty, and it opens in a similar way, and we hadn't watched
that since we were
children. And we were like, wow. And you don't realize
it's so
the subconscious.
Subconscious. And it's funny, Snow White was the first movie I remember seeing, and it was one of the reissues that they probably did. And it gets so stuck in you when you realize that just like kind of the archetypes of good and evil and all these things begin there. And it's not just about storytelling, it's about living your life, and that's what's so cool about them to us and why we wanted to make a series
and exactly, and for us this series is about hope, and that's what I love about fairy tales. It's kind of like Snow White came out in the Depression. We're clearly in a some sort of recession, and it's that's what I love about it. It's like why you buy a lottery ticket, in the hopes that you're going to win, you can go tell your boss to go to hell, and you can retire to wherever your dream is. And that's what a fairy tale is. I'm sweeping up for my stepmom, and then the next minute I go to the ball. And we always love that, and maybe we're at a point in our career where we're like, God, I wish someone would come and change this. But that's kind of what inspired us.
I love the question inside there. Is this a show that you can put your slippers on or pull out the magnifying glass?
And our goal is that it's both. That you can put on your slippers, lean back, and enjoy the episode of the week. But if you look closely, you will see things in there that carry on from week to week.
Yeah, I mean, we put little things like, if you notice,
8:15.
Yeah.
8:15. Sure, there's a lot of shout-outs, but Mary Margaret was given a pear and not an apple.
That character does not like apples.
And if you noticed in the opening, she wishes on a blue star, but it's a blue star candle, which is how the blue fairy comes into Pinocchio. So we try to put little things in just because that's what we love.
But it's also in ways of like really on every level from the dialogue to the set dressing to make sure the stories are kind of thematically connected and they all have some unity and something that there's a reason for everything you're watching and nothing is just there for its own sake.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we learned that in Unlost and is that it's character first and it can't be mythology, and we are not trying to present a show that's like everything is now about the first 5 minutes of it, and it's all about one thing. We're about characters, and I want to know why Evil Queen hates Snow White. Like, why would she go to this lengths? But that may be answered in an episode, and if you weren't asking that question and you get it, it doesn't detract from you watching it. But if you want to know that and then you get it, you're like, aha. So I think we're trying to do both, and we'll see if we can do any, to be honest.
How much of the series do you have planned out?
Well, you know, it's like anything at the start. You can't have the hubris of saying you're going to be on for however many years, but you do start with, as we do, a kind of a plan of where we would love to go if given the opportunity. But, you know, and
it's the road trip that David McCullough used to say. It's like, we know we want to end up in New York, but there's a lot of pit stops like, oh, is that a potato that looks like Abe Lincoln? Let's pull over. But right now, we've been given 12 episodes, and so the truth is we don't know if we'll ever get more than that. So we're thinking right now,
make the best 12 episodes.
And if it doesn't work out and we can walk away proud, you know, some of my favorite shows, you know, are like Freaks and Geeks. So we are just trying to make the best 12,
right.
And then we'll worry about what's in the hatch.
And that's the thing, yeah, exactly. It's not, you know, look, have the big ideas, but not look too far down the field, and just kind of see what's in front of us and try and do our best.
One last question.
It's great that you captured the whimsy and the whimsical aspect of things that we all loved as children, but then you have some of the dark thematic, black and white, good versus evil, and then of course the word destiny was in there, which is a familiar and lovely concept. So it's a very clever spin on beloved characters, and is that what you had in mind?
Yeah. It's what we wanted to do is take the icon to the person. So we don't want Snow White to be, oh, I'm just singing to Blue. We want to say, well, what is she like as a woman? You know, what would Snow White really be like? What is it like there? One of my favorite moments in the pilot is when Prince Charming goes, Snow, I can't keep having this conversation. And you're like, anyone who's ever been in a relationship knows when you walk in and you see your significant other and you're like, no. Really?
It was interesting. When we sat down to write those scenes in particular, I remember we were talking about how are we going to write these scenes between Snow and Charming? And then we just realized they're a real couple and they have a problem. And that was it. And that became our guideline for everything we did in the fairy tale land, is reality. And all that other stuff around it is kind of fun to see, but if we have that baseline of reality, then there's something we can write to that makes the characters hopefully feel just really real.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it. Good to see you again.
Good to see you all again.